Okay, students, I am Ramesh, faculty economy. So today class is the fundamental first we deal, then enter into last year question which was asked in 2023, the question over invits, right? Okay. So before dealing invits, right, we should try to deal the fundamental today. The today's fundamental is capital formation, right? Capital formation. So why we need to deal these fundamentals, as I told you in the preceding classes. You see here 2020 to 23, right, gross fixed capital formation was 30.8% of GDP, and 2023-24, right, record as gross fixed capital formation, yes, it is 31.3%. right, it is 0.5% up, isn't it? So that's why we can deal fundamentals also. Why? Because this point reflected in economic survey. Gross fixed capital formation is a part and parcel of capital formation. So that's why here we can't avoid the fundamentals in economy preparation. So that's why fundamentals, subject, both are needed. So questions are asked over these areas. Okay, economic survey, you know, the preceding year economy renowned as economic survey. So we need to know, right? So in paper they mentioned that GFCF it was 30.8% and to 31.3% up. Even though geopolitical tensions in the world, right, so wars taking place in the world, Iran, right, Israel, Hamas, right, then Ukraine, right, Russia, okay, the COVID problem. So even though and like this we are having numerous global headwinds. So even though situation seems serious globally, our GFCF has been increased from 2022-23 financial year to 2023-24 financial year. This is mentioned in coming economic survey. You see here we are now in 2022-23 economic survey. Okay, after elections, government going to introduce 2023-24 economic survey, right? I think it's clear. That's why it is understood that with reference to economy, we can't avoid the fundamentals. Why? Because numerous questions are asked over fundamentals besides subject also. Okay, right. So now we should try to enter into, right, that is fundamental, that is capital formation. What is capital formation? You see here with reference to, right, economy, as I told you, economy, right, the exact meaning goods, but the goods are classified into consumer goods, and capital goods, right? So I dealt right about consumer goods in the preceding classes. So now again I need not go into details into consumer goods. Now we concentrate on capital, that is C, right, capital. Okay. For example, here one tractor, that is capital. Okay, so heap of capital, right? That is capital formation. Okay, so capital formation here, tractors, isn't it? Capital it is a singular, capital formation plural. I think it's clear. Okay, so capital formation, right, leads to GCF, gross capital formation. Gross capital formation. So in this we have yes, for example, if you take tractor is having machine, and tractor is having fuel. Why? Because without fuel we can't move, isn't it? Right. So so far we dealt capital, right? Capital, it is the, as I mentioned the meaning exactly in the preceding classes, capital is a good. Capital is a good which can produce other goods, which can produce other goods. I think it's clear. Yes. So that's why it is understood that capital role is very crucial, as I dealt in the preceding classes, than consumer goods. Country which mobilizes capital in each passing year likely to, right, convert its position from developing into developed, right? So one tractor treated as capital, tractors plural, capital formation. So in this we have a GCF, gross capital formation. So here gross capital formation. So to run the tractor we need machinery and fuel. Here machinery, right, in economic term treated as gross fixed capital formation, also named as gross domestic fixed capital formation, right? So now itself I dealt it according to 2020 to 23, right? Our GFCF seems 30.8% of the GDP and up to 31.8% of GDP in 2023-24. In such a way, right, the questions are asked. So first of all we need to know the S fundamental. GFCF part and parcel of GCF, GCF part and parcel of CF, CF part and parcel of capital. I think it's clear. Yes. So if you, right, so if you add, for example, change in stock, then you are going to get gross domestic capital formation. When you deduct depreciation from gross domestic capital formation, then you are going to get right, okay, that is net domestic capital formation, isn't it? Right? These are the terms we can see in capital. So capital, right, is a good which is useful in the production of other goods. Capital rich countries are developed countries, right? So if you wanted to convert your economy from developing into developed, you must change your economy position from consumption led economy to capital led economy. Okay, once you change your economy from consumption led economy to capital led economy, you are going to get a speedier growth rate. It's true. So that's why whatever the amount which is spent by us in budget, okay, must be dealt with capital, not with consumption. In such a way measures are taken. I think it's clear. Yes. You see here, one tractor capital over, capital formation tractors over Gross capital formation means, gross means here two. One is machine, second one is fuel. So whatever the machine you have to run, you need it, right, fuel, right, maybe diesel, maybe petrol, maybe coal, right, or environment friendly energy such as solar, like this. I think it's clear. But without fuel, we can't run the machine. The machine in economic terms treated as gross fixed capital formation, also renamed as gross domestic fixed capital formation. When you add CIS, change in stock, So what is change in stock? It is a basic, right? So then we lead gross domestic capital formation. When you deduct depreciation minus D, okay, then you are going to get net domestic capital formation. These are the terms we can see. Okay, about these we are going to deal in detail in national income chapter, not now. Okay, the change in stock, it is SCIS is equals to opening stock minus closing stock. Okay, closing stock minus opening stock, right? Okay, so closing stock means April, right? That is last financial last day, that is 31st March. Okay, minus opening stock April 1st. So what is stock? What is change in stock? To be dealt in detail in national income chapter, not now. Okay, so the formula of CS change in stock equal to closing stock minus opening stock. Generally financial year starts from April 1st, ends on March 31st. I think it's clear. Yes. So next one is again, see here again one more word is there, C over capital output ratio. Capital output ratio means to produce 1 unit of output, how many units of capital needed can be shown by capital output ratio. So here COR is equals to C by O. Another word also we have that is, right, okay, ICOR, incremental capital output ratio, that is change delta C by delta O. All these are dealt in the original chapter, that is, right, national income. The first chapter we are going to deal in prelims economy. So from next class onwards we are going to start prelims economy. Yes. Okay. So in that first chapter is national income. We are going to deal in detail about capital output ratio, about incremental capital output ratio, about capital formation, gross capital formation, gross fixed capital formation, change in stock, gross domestic capital formation, depreciation also renamed as, right, consumption of fixed, consumption of fixed capital, right, CFC means not chlorofluorocarbons, consumption of fixed capital, also renamed as depreciation. When you deduct depreciation from GDCF, you are going to get NDCF, net domestic capital formation. So capital is a good which is useful in the production of other goods. Country which can mobilize much capital, thereby it can get a faster growth rate. I think it's clear. So it is understood that we should try to mobilize capital, whatever the country, doesn't matter. But unfortunately, over the last 75 years, either central government or state government or general government, they are not concentrating on mobilization of capital. That was a blunder mistake which was done by our planners. But over last 10 years, the Modi government is doing his best to uplift the capital. Capital expenditure has been increasing, right? Okay, this is something about capital formation. Okay, so we are going to deal in detail, right, about capital, right, in a specific chapter, that is national income. I think it's clear. This is about capital formation. Next one is change in stock. Generally, stock constitutes raw material, intermediate goods unsold finished goods is stock. Stock is not added to national income, but change in stock is added. Why change in stock is added to national income? We are going to deal in detail later, not in this session. In national income we are going to deal it, right? Okay, this is something about, right, capital formation. Okay. So next we deal as into moving to write today's question that is asked 2023. Okay, right? Okay, the question is, consider the following statements. Interest income from the deposits in infrastructure investment trust distributed to their investors is exempted from tax, but the dividend is taxable. And second statement, InvITs means infrastructure investment trust. InvITs are recognized as borrowers under securitization, reconstruction, financial assets and enforcement of securitization of interest 2002. Okay, so here the two statements are, right, okay, correct, but statement 2 is not answerable to, right, statement 1. So statement 1, 2 are correct, but statement 2 is not correct explanation for statement 1. So what is, right, InvIT we are going to see. Okay, right. You see here. So first statement is correct. Infrastructure investment trust, generally those who invest yes money in InvITs yes are exempted from taxes, but the income they are getting is tax, that is dividend. So we are going to, yes, deal in detail in this session itself. And second one is, all InvITs are subjected to SARFA AC. SARFA AC, it is Act took place 2002, that is securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of securitization of interest. Okay, so now we are going to, right, get some clarification. Okay, here what was the clarification? You see here, if you wanted to write, okay, change your economy, if you wanted to get faster growth rates, okay, what you have to do is you should try to bring out three types of changes. Three types of changes you need to bring out. Right, you need to bring out three types of changes in order to get faster growth rates, right? Okay, so what are the changes which are needed to get faster growth rate? One is, right, for example, as I told you, by 2047 India wanted Viksit Bharat after to convert developing economy into developed economy. Okay, no problem. But thing is that we need yes, appropriate changes. Abruptly we can't get it. Why? Because it is not an easy task, a problematic issue. Why? Because conversion of developing country to developed is not a joke. For example, you see here, the countries are classified based on per capita income. Okay, so present per capita income of India $2610. Okay, if you wanted to convert your economy from developing into developed, you should try to mobilize near about $13,500 of per capita income. Okay, so is it possible, right? Okay, over 75 years we mobilized only $2610. How it is possible, right, within, right, okay, 25 years? It is highly impossible. So however it is possible, why? Because nothing is impossible in the world, but thing is that appropriate steps are taken. Okay, you should try to concentrate on capital but not consumer goods. That's why if you wanted to convert your economy from developing into developed, you should try to concentrate on three types of changes. The change number one is infrastructural changes. The change number two, institutional changes. The change number three, technical changes. Okay, if you wanted to convert your economy from developing into developed, you should try to concentrate on three types of changes. The first one is infrastructural changes. The second one is institutional changes. The third one is, right, so why? Because here today question InvITs. Why INVITs right bring out? The reason is it is part and parcel of infrastructure. Part and parcel of infrastructure. Why? Because here you see the abbreviation of INVIT, Infrastructure Investment Trust, isn't it? So that's why here infrastructure, right? It is an important thing for the country. So if you wanted to, yes, convert your economy from developing into developed, okay, you must rely upon three types of changes. Change number 1, infrastructural changes. Change number 2, institutional changes. Change number 3, technical changes. If you bring out these three changes considerably, automatically you can change your economy from developing into developed as Viksit Bharat 2047. But unfortunately, the per capita income is the measurement. According to per capita income, India's per capita income seems only $2610. We have to, yes, up to $13,500. So it is not an easy task. We have to do, yes, a lot of effort. Okay, the thing is that we should try to bring out three types. First one is infrastructural changes. So what were the infrastructural changes? Okay, that is roadways, railways, airways, roadways, railways, airways, waterways, telephone, right? Okay, irrigation, right? These are all changes we needed. Okay, otherwise you can't change your economy from developing into developed. Okay, right? Next one is institutional change. So what is institutional change? Okay, you see here economy is considered as an institution. The economy is having three parts. One is primary sector, that is agriculture sector. Second one is secondary sector, that is industrial sector. Third one is tertiary sector, that is service sector. So your economy considered as an institution. That's why we need to bring out some institutional changes. For example, agriculture is there. Okay, in order to develop agriculture, we need one policy, National Agricultural Policy. National Agricultural Policy is the policy come under institutional changes. Okay, so for example, industry, National Industrial Policy. Okay, for example, service sector, right? Okay, that is communication policy. We have ICT policy, ICT Act, okay, Information Communication Technology. Like this, if you wanted to convert your economy from developing into developed, you should try to bring out institutional changes. The policy making come under institutional changes. For example, forestry, yes, green cover, we need 33%. Unfortunately, since 1947 till today, it oscillates right 22-23%, but badly needed 33%. That is the national forest policy we brought out. Okay, on the same line, right, telecom policy may be there, right, okay, industrial policy may be there, population policy may be there, okay, manufacturing policy may be there. All policies come under institutional changes. These are to be dealt, right? Okay, then only, right, you can change your economy. Next one is technical changes, R&D, research and development. As I told you, science and technology very important. Why? Because if you wanted to produce qualitative goods, international standard goods, you must rely upon research and development. Mere normal goods are not countable. Normal goods are not exported. Normal goods can't bring the foreign exchange reserves. You should try to produce qualitative goods, superior goods, international standard goods. To do so, you should try to add research and development. Okay, maybe digital economy, maybe research and development, maybe right artificial, whatever it may be. But thing is that something is newer is needed. Okay, it is understood that if you wanted to convert your economy from developing into developed, you should try to bring out infrastructural changes, institutional changes, and today question dealt in right infrastructure. Right, infrastructure. So infrastructure needed, right? Infrastructure needed a truckload of money. Roadways, railways, airways, yes, not a joke, right? Our banking system seems very, very weak in the world. So So our banks are not able to provide loans to infrastructure. That is the main problem. Why? Because as I told you in the preceding class, 1947 to 1991, unnecessarily government nationalized the banks, private banks into government banks. That was a blunder mistake which was done by the planners. Okay, since 1991 also, our bank system seems not good, not strong, not sturdy because of shadow banking. Shadow banking. It is understood that total banking system is not good in India. That's why 26 public sector banks is converted into 12 banks. These also to be removed by the government, maybe changed into private. It is understood that then we need finance, we need capital, we need loan, but banks are not enough, not strong. To do so, government opted to started special funds to promote infrastructure. Okay, 1947 to 1997, no fund was there to promote infrastructure. As I told you, infrastructure constitutes roadways, railways, airways, water, telephone, telegraph. These are all needed large quantity of money, truckload of money. But these loans are not given by our weaker banks. That's why government came forward to start special funds. The first special fund to promote infrastructure, that was IDFC. Infrastructure Development Finance Corporation, which was initiated in 1997. Okay, then next one in 2000, Industrial Infrastructure Finance Company Limited was started in 2006. Okay, then next one is National Investment Infrastructure Fund was started by Mr. Modi. It was in 2015. Okay, so it is understood that these are all special funds. However, these funds also not able to support the infrastructure in India. Okay, IDFC was there. So they started one private bank also, IDFC first bank. Okay, IDFC Infrastructure Development Finance Corporation. In 2006, India Infrastructure Finance Company, one more fund also started. By Modi government, NIIF also started. But these are not also enough to provide the finance to infrastructure. That's why government started InvITs, right? Okay, so in 2014, this was a question that asked in 2023. The question is interest income from the deposits infrastructure investment trust distributed to their investors is exempted from tax, but dividend is taxable. The question is, why InvIT started? InvIT is the trust which is recorded in the stock markets. For example, if you wanted to purchase a share Infosys, okay, you can purchase Infosys share. On the same line, right, you can purchase the share of InvIT also. So InvITs, right, it is the mutual fund, as mutual fund. Okay, so as we are going to deal in detail about mutual funds in banking, not now. Okay, but it takes a lot of time. That's why here just briefly. Okay, mutual fund is the organization which does right two duties. One is bank duty. The rest one is stock market duty. Okay, that's why so if you wanted to spend your money in which two ways are there. One is you can get the interest prime. Okay, first route. Second route is stock market. Okay, so if you spend your money in stock market, you are going to get the money. The money is taxable. That is dividend. Okay, but if you if you purchase bond, okay, you are going to get interest. Interest is not taxable. I think it's clear. That's why in mutual fund we are going to do two things. One is we can purchase either bond or share. If you wanted to purchase share, okay, you can get the income part and parcel of income. Okay, that is named as dividend. Dividend is taxable, but not interest is not taxable. Okay, this is the first statement. So first statement is correct. Why? Because here tax is applicable over interest. Okay, tax is applicable over dividend, but not tax. The first statement is correct. But these InvITs or trusts, okay, are dealt by the some acts. For example, SARFA AC is there. SARFA AC abbreviated as Securitization, Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Securitization of Interest Act. It is 2002. Okay, it has to follow the right. So that's why InvITs are needed to follow SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. InvITs are needed to follow the SARFA AC Act 2002. Okay, so Indian Trust Act also. Indian Trust Act also needed to follow right by the InvITs. Indian Trust Act took place 1882. Okay, that's why it is understood that InvITs, why InvITs is started by the government in order to mobilize the funds from the investors. Already we started 3 funds, as I told you. IDFC fund we started, IIFCL fund we started, NIF we started, but these are not enough. These are not able to do their justice to promote infrastructure. That's why government, besides these 3, government started InvITs. InvITs are they are recorded in the stock market. That's why InvITs need to follow rules and regulations of the SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, and also they need to follow the Indian Trust Act which took place in 1882, and also they need to follow SARFA AC Act which took place in 2002. Okay, I think it's clear. That's why here InvITs like MF. MF stands for mutual fund. MF stands for mutual fund, right? Okay, mutual fund. Mutual fund is the organization which does 2 duties. One is bank duty, the rest, the residual duty is right, stock market duty. Okay, for example, one person right is having 1 lakh rupees. Okay, so he can spend his money in right bond of InvIT, and also he can purchase the shares of InvITs also. Okay, for example, if he spend his money in InvITs as bond, he gets interest. Interest is not taxable. Interest is not taxable. For example, he is not interested to purchase InvIT bond. He is very much interested to purchase the share of InvIT. Okay, he gets income. The income treated as dividend. Dividend is taxable. Okay, that's according to first statement. You see first statement. Interest income from the deposits in infrastructure investment trust distributed to their investors is exempted from tax. Okay, that's why if you purchase bond, you are going to get interest. Your interest is not taxable. But if you purchase a share of InvIT, you are going to get income. That income is taxable. That income is treated as dividend. Dividend is taxable. That's why overall first statement is correct. Okay, the second statement, what was that? InvITs are recognized borrowers under right securitization. Okay, so many InvITs are there. Okay, not only one, many InvITs are there. They are recorded in stock market. Okay, generally NSE they are recorded. Okay, that's why here. So, but these InvITs must follow the rules and regulations of Securities Exchange Board of India, right? Indian Trust Act 1882, SARFA AC 2002. Okay, but the thing is that here first statement both are correct, but the second statement is not an explanation for first statement. I think it's clear. The answer is B. Both statement 1, statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation for statement 1. Statement 1, I think it's clear. Yes, that's why InvITs took place. The answer is right, to promote infrastructure. But IDFC not recorded in stock market, IIFCL not recorded in stock market, NIF also. These are the funds, but these funds are not enough to promote right infrastructure. Why? Because bank system very weak in India. That's why government opted another area, that is InvITs. Okay, InvITs right extended as infrastructure investment trust. On the same line of REITs also there, real estate investment trust also there. We are going to deal about in detail later, not now. Why? Because these areas dealt with stock market. I think it's clear. So according to this question, first statement correct, second statement correct, and the second statement is not a correct explanation for first statement. Okay, in first statement what we dealt, okay, so InvITs it is a MF mutual fund. Okay, so that's why in mutual fund either you purchase bond or purchase share. If you purchase share, you are going to get dividend is taxable. If you purchase bond, you are going to get interest is not taxable. I think it's clear. Yes. Okay students, thank you. Right.